Once again, I thank everyone for joining the webinar session. So, yeah, I see there are new attendees after my initial introduction. So, once again, myself, Nagarajan. I'm taking care of the product management and Vembu. And yeah, so I just thought of giving you the ground rules. So, you will be all in listen only mode. And say if you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to ask your questions in the question section in GoToMeeting control panel. And yeah, one of my colleague will respond to your queries. If he is getting a lot of questions, so you will get the response as soon as possible, or we will send you the response to you directly post webinar. And yeah, so we are good to go with the webinar. Okay, today I'm going to talk about the standard edition, which Vembu is going to introduce in another few weeks. So I'm so much excited about the new standard edition, and I just thought of give a sneak peek how the standard edition of Vembu BDR suite is going to be. So yes, and this is my agenda, so it's very simple, and it's going to be another 30 to 40 minutes webinar. It's a short webinar, and I'm just going to give in a brief about the Vembu BDR suite of products, the product portfolio, and the features available in Vembu Standard Edition, and following by a demo. And yeah, so at any time, if you have any questions, you feel free to ask your questions in the question section. So for those who are new to Vembu, we've been offering this backup and disaster recovery solution more than 10 plus years, and we've been reached to more than 100 plus countries. And yeah, we have an office headquartered in Chennai. We do the development, all this engineering, everything is from Chennai, and we do have an office in US. And yeah, we had a global reach, and we are having more than 60,000 plus businesses using our software. So okay, so just I would like to jump into the product portfolio. So for those who are new, so this is our product portfolio. So Vembu is offering a backup and disaster recovery solution almost every environment. Okay, it may be virtualized environments like VMware or Hyper-V, or it may be physical Windows servers and workstations, or Linux machines or Mac machines. So we have a backup solution. So you can back up the data to your local data center, like a local storage targets, or to offsite data center, or you can keep a copy at your data center and you replicate additional copy to your offsite location, or you can replicate additional copy to Vembu Cloud. So there are multiple options, deployment options available with Vembu. So you can choose how do you want to set up the backup and disaster recovery in your environment. So based on your needs. And with the Vembu Cloud services, yes, you can back up all the data directly to Vembu Cloud, or you can opt for a hybrid cloud environment where you can keep a copy at your data center and replicate additional copy to Vembu Cloud. So Vembu Cloud is actually running on Amazon Web Services, and we are actually comply with the new GDPR regulation. So we hosted our servers in Amazon Web Services, which is in Ireland, for European Union customers. So you no need to worry about the GDPR. So we comply with the GDPR regulations. And the SaaS backup is actually a cloud-to-cloud backup solution for Office 365 and Google Apps. So if you have any Office 365 and Google Apps, you would like to back up or archive the data, yes, you can back up those data to Vembu Cloud. So you see, the product portfolio of Vembu almost cover the entire data center. So it may be virtualized machines like VMware or Hyper-V, or Windows servers, workstations, Linux machines, Mac machines, and even the SaaS applications. So let me directly jump into the today's agenda. So it's about the edition in version 391. So version 391 is to be released in another few weeks. So along with, we are going to introduce the new edition, which is the Vembu Standard Edition. And why we are going to introduce a new edition. So this is a question. So because of these particular stats, you see, there are not every small businesses actually having a sophisticated backup solution in the data center. Say for example, as per this particular stats, 2 out of 3 is not having a sophisticated backup solution. So the current scenario of a data center. So there are various reasons where you can lose a data. It may be an accident, a human error, or maybe a disaster, a natural disaster, or it may be any malware attacks, anything. It can be anything. But losing the data is actually losing the business. So as per the current stats, okay, almost 70 to 80% of the small businesses are actually not having a sophisticated backup solution. That is why Vembu is going to announce a new standard edition, so which will be a sophisticated backup solution which has enterprise class features and at very affordable price. Okay, so we just discuss about the price points later, and we just look into what do you get when you go for a standard edition. So these are all the editions right now available with Vembu BDR, which is a free edition. Yes, you can have a free edition available right now for your data center, as well as there is an enterprise edition available right now. So standard edition, it's going to be released in another few weeks. So with Vembu's free edition, you can back up to 3 virtual machines with the full feature, no feature restriction. And then for the rest of those virtual machines, it's all a limited backup, so there will be feature limitations. So yeah, there is a limitation with the free edition. But again, so Vembu is the only software provider offering unlimited free edition, so there are no limitation in terms of CPU socket or in terms of virtual machines. So all you will get is you will get unlimited features for first 3 virtual machines. After that, there will be small limitations. That's all. And with the Vembu standard edition, there are no limitations. So as a small business, in order to implement a backup and disaster recovery solution, you will get almost enterprise class features. So okay, when we talk about a backup and disaster recovery solution, see, this is a question comes into the IT admin's mind. So the recovery time objectives, RTO. So how fast you can recover a data after a disaster. So that is where Vembu is offering less than 15 minutes even for standard edition. So if anything happens to your VM or a physical machine, you can instantly boot them as a VM on VMware or Hyper-V or KVM. So it seems to be there is no hypervisor restriction in order to instantly boot a backed up VM or physical machine. I'm again talking about the physical machine along with the VM. So it may be a physical machine. You can boot it as a VM right away after the disaster. So it may be a VM running on VMware or Hyper-V. You can boot them as a VM on VMware or Hyper-V or KVM. It's all instant in few minutes. Based on the load, it will take few more minutes. That's also the RTO is less than 15 minutes. So if anything happens to your machine, you are immediately you can boot that particular machine on a Vembu BDR server using any hypervisor, and then you are good to go. So your business won't interrupt. And if in case if you want to go with the file level recovery, say you just need to restore a single file rather than restoring the entire machine, you can just go and browse, select that single file and restore it directly to your machine. So it's very simple, instant file recovery. And also, if you are running any virtual machines having the applications like Exchange, SQL, SharePoint or AD, you can restore individual application items again instantly. So it may be an email from an Exchange server, it may be a table from an SQL database, or it may be a single object from AD, or it may be a site from the SharePoint. You can restore them instantly without any time. So you can do it instantly by using Vembu. So you see, it's all enterprise class features, which is actually available with the Vembu's standard edition. So to ensure the business continuity after the disaster, we provide quick VM recovery, and instant file recovery and instant granular recovery from the Microsoft applications. So the next question is recovery point objective. So RPO. RPO is nothing but how much data you will lose after the disaster. So again, there is another good question, because not every backup software or a manual method of backup you will not allow you to do the backup very frequently. So say for example, if you are following a manual process to backup your data, so you will do it once in a day. So see, after the backup, after 6 hours or 8 hours, if the machine crashes, so you will lose all those data created after the backup schedule. So in order to avoid that, the Vembu is implementing the backup frequencies starts from every 15 minutes. So the backup, you can actually schedule it it's all automatic backup scheduling. So you don't need to manually trigger each and every time. You just select the virtual machines and specify how frequent you want to run the backup, and then it's all automated. Another thing is like, say we provide changed block tracking technology for all the VMs and physical machines, because it's all mage level backups. It will back up entire VM on an entire physical machine along with the application, operating system and data. So after the full backup, we only track the changes every 15 minutes. So the changes alone will be backed up. Again, it's all block level changes, so it will be very less, as well as the data will be transferred as fast as possible. So you see, it's possible to run the incremental backup every 15 minutes because of the modifications, very low risk modifications, and again the tracking at block level helps you to continue the incrementals every 15 minutes. So you will not lose the data after disaster. So we just covered about how fast you can recover the data and how much data you will lose after the disaster with Vembu Standard Edition. Then we are actually coming into the point how much storage you need to have in order to implement the backup solution. So in this case, okay, Vembu is having its own in-house file system, Vembu High file system, to provide the better storage management purpose. So for example, not every small business can purchase sophisticated hardware which has inbuilt deduplication or inbuilt acceleration in order to improve the efficient storage. Okay, that's why Vembu's file system, it has inbuilt deduplication, inbuilt compression, inbuilt encryption, and inbuilt version correction, and again it has inbuilt scale out technology. So you no need to buy additional, no need to invest the money on buying any sophisticated hardware. You can use a simple NAS box, or you can use even the local disk available on your machines for the storage purpose. So in this case, say you can begin with a single NAS box having 10 gigs or 50 gigs. Then you can keep on adding additional storage, and Vembu's repository will manage the scale out the technology. And with the help of Vembu's deduplication and the compression, the data will be reduced. I mean, you can see up to 30 to 70% of storage reduction. So you don't need to worry about keeping much data at your storage target. And again, with the help of Vembu's retention policies, you can eliminate the data after a few based on your configurations. If you want to keep last 2 weeks of modifications or last 1 month of modification, only those modification alone will be stored and everything else will be removed from the storage target. So you can efficiently manage the storage with the help of Vembu's in-house file system. You don't need to invest additional money to purchase a sophisticated hardware for the storage purpose. So again, the next important thing is like encryption. So Vembu using a AES-256-bit encryption algorithm. So the data is encrypted at fly as well as when it is actually stored. So we don't compromise on the security. So before the data leaving your source machine, it will be encrypted while transferring the data over the LAN or WAN, as well as while storing the data at the storage target. And again, say you can provide a custom encryption password or key for each and every virtual machine or physical machine or a backup job. So which means we are actually not keeping this encryption key as a gatekeeper. Okay, it's not kind of a key which will allow you to access the data. We are using that encryption key to encrypt each and every blocks we are backing up. So each and every block will be encrypted with that particular encryption key using the AES-256-bit encryption algorithm. So your data is completely secured. And we offer this end-to-end encryption algorithm along with the standard edition. So this is another cool feature. So you can actually do migrations between physical to virtual, or from one ESXi from one hypervisor to another hypervisor, or even from hypervisor to a physical machine. So it's kind of say after completing a backup schedule of any backed up VM or physical machine, we create a bootable VMDK, VHT, IMG files for every incremental. So which mean with this particular technology, we are actually providing advanced reverse incremental or forward incremental. You can actually call it anything, because you will get a bootable virtual image for every incremental. Again, it's all virtual without occupying any space, without utilizing any resources of the disk, the storage target. We create those images. You just copy the VMDK and put it on the VMware data store to boot it as a VM running on VMware. At the same time, you can just copy VHT or VHTX and put it on a Hyper-V data store, and you can create a VM on a Hyper-V. At the same time, raw image can be used to boot it as a VM on KVM. So this is how you can migrate your physical machines into VM, or a VM from VMware to Hyper-V, vice versa. So, or a VM to a physical machine. So these options are again available for Vembu BDR Suite's standard edition. So when we talk about pricing, yes, the pricing is actually not yet announced. So you just need to wait for few weeks and just follow the Vembu blogs. You will we will be announcing the pricing for Vembu standard edition. But again, say the pricing may be at a host level. Like say if you have 2 CPUs, physical sockets running on a machine, and you are having 20 virtual machines, so you can actually buy the CPU socket level license, or you can purchase a license at VM level. So it's applicable for both VMware and Hyper-V. So okay, just to directly jump into the product demo. Say it's very simple. So once we announce the release of the Vembu BDR Suite version 3.9.1, and we will be announcing the standard edition. So just once we announce the standard edition general availability, just go to vembu.com and click download. So you will get the build. So it's again all same build. So say during the evaluation period, I mean during the trial period, you will get enterprise edition features. Okay, there won't be any feature restriction. So all you need to do is, in order to experience the standard edition, you just need to log into the console after completing the installation, and then just go to your profile and click on change edition. So which will allow you to change the edition. Say if you are running into enterprise, you can change into standard edition, and you can check what are all the features available or not, and then you can go back to enterprise edition, or you can even use free edition at any time. You can just switch this server. So that's all. It's very simple to switch the editions between standard to enterprise to free. So it's very simple process. Okay, once you are actually ready with your edition selection, okay, you just go to management and storage management, and then just choose any local volumes, the local disk available for the storage, or you can choose any network volume. It may be SAN or NAS, any storage devices, or it may be even data domain, or any type of storage devices. You just select that particular device, and then you just need to create the repository. So each and every repository can be have multiple storage targets. So if you want to start with one single disk, and then later on you want to add additional disk, you can just select it. So we take care of scale out functionality. So you no need to move a backup job from one location to another in order to continue the incremental, as well as since we have our own file system, you no need to worry about the storage target at all. Say for example, with the traditional backup way or other backup solution, so if you're having a VM having more than 2 terabyte of size, you need to have the storage target more than 2 terabyte in order to keep the data. But with the Vembu, you don't need to worry about it. You can have even 4 or 3 500 gigs of separate volumes. You just add them and create one single repository. We will create a one single 2 TB storage availability, or you can have 10 different local disk and you can create one single repository. You see 20 TB of storage availability. So that is how Vembu scale out functionality works. And then, by the way, you can create multiple repositories for your backup purpose. And it's very simple. Since we are considering this particular edition for small businesses, there are no learning curve required in order to protect your data center. It's very simple. You just install the software and use any browser, or you can just log into the same machine and double click the desktop icon, and then you just log in with your credentials. And then you just go select the storage target and then go to this backup and click VMware vSphere. It's straightforward. You just click add VMware vSphere and then enter the credentials, the IP or host name of the ESXi host or vCenter server. It may be anything. So once you provide the credentials, again, it's all agentless backup. We will not install any agent at all at the ESXi host or the vCenter or the VM. So it's completely agentless. Just click on backup and then it will list out all the virtual machines running inside that particular ESXi host or the vCenter. And then you just click next. So you see there are a few features available and not available for the editions. You can just check them by just clicking the button. If you see these options are actually not available, you can actually, it will be highlighted. So you just click next and then you see the application level process. So Vembu ensures the application level process while performing the backup of VMs and physical machines having Microsoft application. So it will ensure the consistency of the each and every application, and then it will truncate the transaction logs post backup schedule. So you can configure them if you would like to enable this application level functionality for the VMs having the Microsoft applications. And the frequencies, yes, how frequent do you want to run the backup and on which day do you want to run the backup job? You can just have multiple flexible options. So based on your schedule, the incremental will run. And if you want to say if your company requires you to run the additional full backup every quarter or every 1 month or every 1 year, you can just select this option, or you can let it run as a 4-hour incremental. So if you just disable this option, the backup will run as a 4-hour incremental with only one single full backup. And so if you want to enable retention, you can actually go for the basic retention. So how many recovery points you want to keep for that particular virtual machine or the physical machine. Say for past 1 week or past 2 weeks or past 1 month, based on the options, you can select them. And you see, yes, you can have option to select the storage repository. So you can have multiple storage repositories as a storage target, and it will tell you how much space available on that particular storage repository. So if you are going to back up a VM having more than 200 gigs, then yes, you need to just make sure you have enough space in order to continue the incremental or full backup. So again, so if you want to enable the encryption for this particular backup job, is you can actually give an encryption key, and then it will be used to encrypt the data completely. Every block will be encrypted. That's all. So you just name the job, and you can run the job immediately, or you can let it run based on your configuration. So you see, it's a very simple 5-step process. All you need to do is you need to select the virtual machines you want to back up, and then you need to select if you want to do the application level process, and select the scheduling frequencies, and select a few options like the retention policies or the storage repository selection, and you just specify the password. That's all. You just save the job and run the job. That's all. You see, it's a very simple and straightforward. And the same is applicable for the Hyper-V environment. So you just, all you need to do is you just enter the credentials, and everything else is same. Again, it's also the agentless backup, so we will not install any agent inside the virtual machines, and we use the change block tracking technology to track the changes during the incremental backup. And again, the rest of the steps are very similar to VMware backup. You need to select the virtual machines, you need to specify how frequent do you want to run it, and you need to specify how many recovery points do you want to keep that for that particular virtual machine, and save the job and run it. That's all. It's very simple. And the third option is physical machine. It may be Windows servers or it may be Windows workstation. All you need to do is you just need to enter the credentials. Again, what we do is we will push an agent to the physical machine, and then we will list out all the volumes running, all the volumes available inside that physical machine, and you can do the configurations and you can do all the management from this single console. You need to keep multiple console in order to perform the backup and recovery. So this is what you need to do in order to back up your virtual and the physical machines. It's all entire machine level backup. And then you have another option, like say if you want to back up a specific files and application rather than backing up the entire physical machine, you just need to download an agent, and this agent will be you can actually, we will provide agents to back up like Windows or Linux or Mac machines. You just need to install the agent, and you need to configure the backup policy. It's a one-time configuration, and then everything else you can manage it from the BDR backup server console. So to perform the recovery, it's again very simple. You see, just click on this recovery button. It will ask you to perform the restore, and then you just click the restore. You see the options available, the types of recovery options available for this particular backup job with Vembu Standard Edition. So it's a quick VM recovery. It's instantly boot the virtual machine and recover the VM back to the same ESXi host or a different ESXi host, or perform individual file level recovery, or perform granular recovery of applications like MS Exchange, SQL, SharePoint, or convert this particular VM or VM into VHD or VHDX or IMG file. So you just need to select the option and click next. You need to select on which recovery point you want to go back, and then you need to select the virtual machine and then just click next. Here you see the option, say do you want to boot this VM as a VM running on a VMware, or do you want to boot it as a VM on Hyper-V? See, it's a VMware VM, but at the same time you can actually boot it into Hyper-V. So in order to boot the VM into Hyper-V, you need to have the Hyper-V role enabled on the BDR backup server machine. See, we recommend you to install the BDR backup server on the machine like Windows 2012 R2 or Windows 2016 or Windows 10, where you can enable the Hyper-V role and you can utilize the native Hyper-V for the instant boot purpose. See, most of the scenario, our customers, okay, the best recommendation for BDR is like, say, they will be going with the physical machine where they install 2012 OS or 2012 R2 or 2016, and then they will enable the Hyper-V role, and they will have a storage target, and they isolate this particular environment separately, so that if anything happens to their production data center, will not affect the backup data. So they will back up the data, and if every ESXi host is actually down or every physical machine is down, we can use the BDR backup server machine, which has inbuilt Hyper-V, to boot all those backed up VMware VM and the physical machines into Hyper-V. It's an optional, okay, so into Hyper-V, and then everything you can actually proceed further. So because say when there is a huge disaster, it's very tough to create another ESXi environment. You need to identify the exact hardware which supports ESXi, and then you need to install the ESXi, and you need to begin the recovery. But with this particular workaround, okay, you just need to have a Windows operating system which has the native Hyper-V functionality, and then you can instantly boot them as a VM and you can start working on it. Meanwhile, you can actually work on the creating the production environment. Once every ESXi host is ready, you can restore all those instantly booted VM by using Hyper-V to ESXi with all those modifications, whatever modifications you are actually done during after you instantly boot the VM. So this is how the this is how our customers actually right now using the BDR suite to protect their environment. Okay, so at the same time, say you'll be having option to replicate the data to Vembu cloud or to your own data center, so which may be LAN or which may be in MAN. Okay, so the data will be transferred over the WAN. Only the compressed data will be transferred over the WAN. So we apply inbuilt inline compression and inline encryption while transferring the data, so which has WAN acceleration. So you don't need to worry that you'll need to have a huge bandwidth connectivity to perform the recovery options. So, and again, let's say you have all those basic functionalities like the reporting functionalities, or it may be, say, you can actually even specify this particular report to be emailed to you frequently once after completing the successful backups, or any specific individual activities. So you can actually specify this particular reports, and everything will be emailed to you. So it just give you a sneak peek about how Vembu BDR Suite Standard Edition going to be. But all I recommend you is just download the software, and then you just try by yourself. So that is what I recommend you to do. So say during the evaluation, or if you have any questions, feel free to reach us. So these are all the numbers on your screen. For US and Canada and the European customers, you can just dial those numbers and you can talk to our agents, or you can email to us at vembu-sales@vembu.com or vembu-support@vembu.com to get clarified all your questions. And stay tuned for the announcement, which will be in another few weeks. And you can subscribe for the email notification just by going to our website www.vembu.com, and then you will be notified over the email, or we will be releasing the press releases, so that anyway you will be notified. Okay, so again, once again, I thank you everyone for joining the session, and I hope so it's informative, and I believe it will change the opinion about the backup software acquisition for the small businesses, because you don't need to invest a huge amount in order to get the sophisticated backup software. So it's very little, and again, at the price point it will be very little, and it will be very much attractive. So I can guarantee you, just stay tuned for a few more weeks, okay, to know the pricing. And thank you very much, and have a great day.